Hello, everybody. Thank you for returning to our YouTube channel. I am Brian with Technology United for Ukraine, and we're now partnered with the Birds of Fury, a Ukrainian military R&D unit that works alongside us to create innovative technologies for the Ukrainian armed forces. If you'd like to join us, if you're an engineer, scientist, technologist, or anybody wants to help out, you can go to the link in the description and click on over. Help us out with our social media, and our fundraising would be excellent. All right, let's get right into the news. And by the way, I'm going to have a little different format. Before I get into the losses that the Russians have incurred up until today, I'll be doing some news. I'll be doing that first. All right, so let's talk about this article here. Russia deploys new air defense systems to Crimea, exposing other frontline positions. So this is a telltale sign of when you don't have enough being produced to fill what is being lost. And this can get critical for them as Russia loses air defense in other areas and they have to move air defense around to shore up areas that are getting weaker. You know, it's the old adage, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And this is going to get worse and worse as their stock goes down, as they begin to lose more and more of their equipment that they had in reserve. And it may well be at that point that what they had in reserve is gone. They're trying to hurry up and manufacture more to replace these losses, their lost EW systems and their lost air defense. Shoring up Crimea has been a real mission of theirs because it's been hit heavily with UAVs, and it's somewhere that is taxing the rest of the Ukrainian front for the Russians, as they're just having to keep replacing equipment that's getting blown up in these attacks, and that's pulling away from other critical positions along the front line. All right, let's get into this article. Russian mercenaries caught with drone on U.S.-Mexican border. So some Wagnerites, these are guys who were in the Wagner mercenary organization that worked for Prigozhin, were caught at the border with $4,000 in a drone. Why they were here, we don't know, but this is what occurred a few weeks ago. They were picked up. No, maybe they were just here because things are just really bad in Russia. And they were hoping for a new beginning, or they were here to do something nefarious. We don't know. And we'll find out. Hopefully, they'll be able to interrogate them and find out exactly what they were doing here. Now, as we know, Trump has proposed to purchase Greenland. The Prime Minister of Greenland came out and said, look, we do want our independence, 100%, but on our terms, we want our own nation. We do not want to join the U.S. But why does that have any bearing on what's happening in Ukraine? More, it's to do with what it's done to Russia. So this area where Greenland is a critical strategic point, and Trump wants it to build our assets, military assets there to monitor, watch, and protect American interests. And if we look at the map here, you'll see this is Greenland. I'm going to circle it right here. And these routes are often used by the Russians and the Chinese. Remember, the Russians were pretty upset when they heard Trump mention that he wanted to purchase Greenland. We're not happy with that at all because they know it would give us a better ability to monitor them. And the Chinese, by the way, the Chinese are up in these waters doing military things, and it would give us a strategic advantage. And it's definitely something that they are not interested happening. All right, now let's get into what losses were incurred by the Russians, and then we'll get back into the news. All right, what Russian losses as of let me go forward here because I was going back a little bit in time. So today's the 13th of January. And again, these numbers come from the armed forces of Ukraine. Personnel, those that have expired on the battlefield, Russian soldiers, has now hit 809,760, with 1,510 being added. Wounded's now at 2,429,280. Armored combat vehicles, 20,315 with 26 being added. Tanks, 9,764 with 8 being added. And then the real critical one here, artillery, 21,876 with 37 being added. And we're also learning that in some areas where Russia used to have a 3-to-1 advantage, it is now reversed where the Ukrainians, now this is just in specific areas along the front lines. The Ukrainians now have a 3-to-1 advantage with artillery. And a lot of that has to do with the massive amount of losses that are occurring every day. If we go back in time here, just watch this number. I'll blow it up. Let's go up here a little bit. I'm going to move this up. And we're going to go up here. All right. Oh, I got to bring this over a little bit. And we're going to bring it up. All right. So now watch this number right here as it changes. So we're going to go back in time. 22 losses, 28, 24, 36, 19, 45, 62. You know, you keep going back, you'll just see these losses are just massive numbers. That is difficult to sustain over the long term. You're losing way more than, you know, going out than is coming into the country. All right, so let's go look at the deep state map. And, you know, I always go down here to Pokrovsk, which is right here. This is the city that the Russians have been trying to reach for a long time. They are getting very close now. If we go back in time, watch right here, right here. This is where the key battling is going on. You'll see they gained a lot yesterday. This is just over a week right here. And if we go forward, and you'll see the big jump they had yesterday. They're moving quite rapidly in this direction. And I think what they're trying to do is get to this road. This is where I think they're trying to go. And they're going to fan out this way and just cut off the city. Rather than going into the city, I think they're going to cut it off. They're going to, and you see here, what are they going to do? They want to cut this road off right here. So they're going to push forward this way, it looks like. Cut off this road. They're going to push forward and this way and cut off this road here into Prokhovo. So you'll see this. That's going to be a giant pincer move where they just close in like that and they'll end up taking this whole area. How long that will take remains to be seen. It looks like with this here anyways, maybe about a month, depending on how ferocious the fighting is. Now, the losses for the Russians have been absolutely astronomical in this area. Tens of thousands of men and equipment have been lost. Just really carnage, you know, is really of historic proportions. The last thing I wanted to talk about was a trade surplus with Russia. I mean, China, I'm sorry. China's surplus surges to $1 trillion ahead of Trump's return. So what does that mean? You know, China's been really, as much as people say China's collapsing, and remember, China's got a lot to do with supplying drones and other equipment to Russia. And their economy has been built to do that. You know, they have the capacity to do a lot of manufacturing. And, you know, the stronger China gets, the more they can shore up Russia and their own intentions around the world, which is definitely not in the interests of the Western countries, in particular the EU and the United States. But what will happen when Trump gets in? He's talking about tariffs and about collapsing some of their industries that they have a monopoly on. So it remains to be seen. And I don't really know exactly what his approach will be and how you're going to do that, because I'm not an economist, but it's going to be interesting to see whether he can slow down the dragon, as they say, because we have two pressures in this world right now. We got Russia and we have China. And nobody knows when the issue with Taiwan is ever going to occur. And, you know, it'll be based upon how much economy China has to bear to that conflict. All right, everybody. Thank you again for coming to our YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe and join us. All right, take care.